Hi, I'm Dani.
And I'm Si. Welcome to Business in the Brew, a podcast dedicated to all things business with the occasional cuppa.
We take a business story, theory, or something we just want to chat about and give it a dusting of our own special personality and sense of humour, combined with our experience and knowledge. We're both business graduates and have run our own businesses for many years. We can't wait for you to listen.
Morning, Danielle.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm so hyperactive.
We've got a great day out there.
Yeah,
Sun.
Well, it's not quite sunny yet.
Yeah, all right. I know. We're in here.
I know.
Right, okay. This episode might make you a little cross if you don't know about it already. It's a little along the lines of the Delcon Shield, which is an episode we did previously, and hip replacement scandal. So we've
That's
already
a big
covered
difference
those.
between hips and vaginas.
Yeah. Yes.
But yes.
Yes. Probably, if you haven't heard about this before as a listener, it might make you quite cross as well. It's actually a story of trust. And I even though I'm doing the talking here, this is a combined story really, but I don't want to come across like I'm mansplaining a women's problem. It just happens to be a story that people just kind of should know about if they don't know about it already. And it's about the trust that we place in our doctors, the medical system, and in the companies that make the devices. That's what we should be calling them.
I don't think we should really... that sounds gross.
Yeah, that are implanted into our bodies.
Okay. Where are we implanting this one?
I'm coming to that.
Okay.
It's a story about how that trust was catastrophically betrayed, whether intentionally or not, and I think probably not initially. We're talking about the vaginal mesh scandal. It's also called the transvaginal mesh or pelvic mesh. Right.
I don't like the word mesh. I certainly don't like it now.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, you know, it's going to get pretty gross, but it's not.
Okay.
You know, it's not. This isn't about sensationalizing the story. But a lot of people don't actually know about it because it didn't affect them, or they don't know about it because they are out of time of what happened because it was a little while ago. But it's still actually very relevant.
Okay.
There are a couple of scenarios. A woman maybe in her 40s or 50s, may have had a couple of children and suffering from stress urinary incontinence. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
yes.
and
That's 2 kids. I'm very familiar.
sneezing, laughing.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Trampolines.
Yeah.
So it's pretty miserable from my understanding of what I've read. And you know, I mean, you have to live with it and get on with it. But another scenario is where someone's had a pelvic organ prolapse, and following things like hysterectomies, and the muscles that hold everything in together and they've weakened, and the organs start to shift. Right. So they were identified as problems that could be dealt with, and in 1998, the NHS started offering a solution.
Which is great. I'd love a solution.
It's a mesh, funnily enough. Yeah. It's a tiny implant, a net-like mesh. It's made of polypropylene. It's got the stuff that fishing nets are made from.
Net says colander to me, which doesn't say stopping the problem, but I don't really know how it works.
Well, it's more support.
Rather than capture.
No.
Okay. This is why I'm here, to ask the questions everyone's wondering.
So this is interesting. This is interesting because you know very little about it, which is good. So it's inserted vaginally to support the pelvic floor, right? Okay. It's a quick procedure, minimum recovery time, and the surgeons called it a global standard. And women were told it was safe. Or as safe as it could be.
Well, I'd like to think so if the hospital were putting it in you.
Yes. Yeah. So for many women, that became utterly devastating. And the mesh, this is the crucial thing, was never designed to be removed. It was in there permanently. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay.
So you can kind of understand that actually once it's in there, it's going to stay in there. That's supposed to be. So it's designed to be permanent. But for thousands of women, it didn't quite sit well in the body and it eroded.
Oh.
It hardened.
Oh.
And from what I've read, literally within 60 days, it hardened.
I regret doing this first. It's too early.
It cut through tissue. It migrated into other organs. So someone who perhaps was very physical, exercising, it may move around a lot more.
That's not what I thought you meant by physical.
Oh, no. I wouldn't go there.
Sorry, this is important. Yeah.
It's no time for levity. Right, so some women couldn't work, they couldn't have sex, they couldn't function because the pain was so great. One patient described it as being the best thing since sliced bread when it was implanted, and then said her life was ruined. Yeah.
I literally feel like some journalist went to her, right, you need to say something good, just say it's the best thing since sliced bread. Because nobody says that.
Everyone understands sliced bread.
But no one ever says that. There's never been a situation where going, dear Lord, this is the best thing since sliced bread.
Well, I'm not actually making a direct quote there, but you know, but so yes, it was done routinely on the NHS, and over 127,000 of them were carried out procedures.
Can I ask a question? Mm-hmm. Did it actually do the job it was, bar the whole falling apart, causing people pain and stuff? Did it actually do the job it was supposed to do?
Well, yes, but at what cost?
Okay.
Yeah. So that was between 2008 and 2017. Yeah?
Yeah.
That was 127,000. That's the figures that I picked up. And then women started coming forward with complications. But when they did, they weren't believed.
All right, quick pause, because this one's genuinely important if you've ever had a baby. Whether that was a C-section or vaginal birth, a lot of women are told the same things afterwards. Leaking is normal. Your core will never be the same. Prolapse just happens. And because you hear it so often, you start to accept it. You get on with things, you adapt where you need to, and you carry on, even if something doesn't feel quite right. But here's the reality. Common doesn't mean normal, and it definitely doesn't mean it can't be improved. Tina Engelman specialises in postnatal recovery and pelvic health, and this is her area of expertise. She works with women who are dealing with things like weak bladder control, prolapse symptoms, core instability, or just that feeling that something isn't quite right after birth. What makes her approach different is that she's not about quick fixes or surface level exercises. She's about rebuilding strength properly, helping you understand how your body works, how it's changed, and how to support it in a way that actually lasts. It's a more considered, informed way of working with your body, one that focuses on long-term strength, not short-term solutions, and gives you the confidence to feel in control again, because your body is capable of more than you've been led to believe. Sometimes it just needs the right kind of support. So if something's been niggling at you, or you've been told something you just have to live with, maybe don't accept that. Go and check Tina out, because when you understand what your body is actually capable of, everything changes. Was it hysteria?
They were told the pain was in their heads. Yeah.
That's right. I imagine pain all the time.
I mean, someone living with pain, they know where the pain's coming from.
Yes.
And they know the likelihood of where that how that pain has resulted.
Well, that would be Occam's razor. I just had a weird foreign object inserted and now I'm in pain. Weird.
Yeah. But the reaction I've got is patients know best. I mean, that is literally the phrase. Patients know their bodies. And if something doesn't feel right, in the main, there are some exceptions to that, but yes. It's since I had this thing fitted and there's pain, then people have got to be listened to. They were sent back, though, to the very surgeons that had implanted the mesh in the first place.
The type of people who don't like to admit they're wrong.
Yeah. There was a review set up, the Cumberlege review. I'll come to it in more detail. They heard from women who said that they were gaslit at every turn. Told their symptoms were imagined. Told their marriages were the problem. They were dismissed, minimised and sent away.
So I mean, it beggars belief,
doesn't it?
Your marriage has got an issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah. So, I'm going to because this is business in a brew, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's bring
We're
this,
not just going to be horrified
let's
about
bring
women's
this
vaginas.
back to the business side of the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if we must.
Biggest manufacturer was Johnson and Johnson.
Genuinely thought you were going to make me guess then.
Our old friends, Johnson and Johnson. Their subsidiary, Ethicon, from my readings. And here's where it gets deeply uncomfortable. In 2019, a federal court in Australia, a judge in that court ruled on a landmark case involving 700 Australian women. It found that Ethicon had conducted no adequate clinical trials on the devices before taking them to market. None. The products were implanted in hundreds of thousands of women without proper safety testing. And Johnson & Johnson ended up paying $117 million in the United States to settle claims from multiple state attorneys general who found that the company had misrepresented or failed to adequately disclose the possible adverse effects to both patients.
Do you think that's one of those things, we've talked about them before, when companies have a conscious choice between doing the right thing and doing the wrong thing and then making a payout, and they felt it was cheaper just to pay out than it was to admit and retrofit?
Yeah.
Can you retrofit?
Well, how?
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well, what would you do? Yeah. So in the UK, the scandal played out a little differently because of how consumer protection works. Women couldn't easily sue the manufacturers directly, and claims had to go through NHS trusts, which made it slower, harder, more adversarial.
A lot more red tape.
Yeah, well, there was an inquiry. The Cumberlege inquiry. That's Baroness Julia Cumberlege, which is a former health minister, chaired what became known as the Independent Medicines and Medical Devices Safety Review. Yeah, I know. She published a landmark report in July 2020 called First Do No Harm.
Why does that sound really familiar? Isn't that part
because
of
that's the Hippocratic Oath.
That one,
yes.
Why does that sound vaguely familiar?
Yeah. And the review, it was damning. It found the medical establishment had systematically failed women. The informed consent had been routinely absent. Many women were told that they were being implanted. They weren't told they were being implanted with mesh at all, just told they were having a tape procedure. Surgeons were performing the operations that hadn't been properly trained. Complications were being underreported. And Baroness Cumberlege, said herself that she'd been appalled at what she'd heard.
I'm glad it was run by a woman. That would be extra insulting if that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I feel awkward enough as a man, telling this
you're
story.
doing a very sensitive job of it.
Thanks. Yes, you're being less sensitive with your answers.
It's my job. I'm like relief.
Yes. Progress has been made. It's been painfully slow and still far short of what's needed. In 2023, it looks like only 16 claims have gone through the NHS compensation gateway, and none resulted in any form of payout. But in 2024, 140 women received what was believed to be the first successful product liability group action payout, with claims against manufacturers Johnson & Johnson, Bard and Boston Scientific, also other manufacturers. Campaigner Kath Sansom of Sling the Mesh, which is a website worth looking at to get the really full and accurate story. She's fought the battle since 2015, and she welcomed it, and noting pointedly that 140 women is a tiny fraction of the thousands whose lives have been irreversibly changed. The Patient Safety Commission has since recommended a proper government redress scheme, though as yet that recommendation still has not been acted. Government kind of drags its feet on things like this.
Weird.
Yeah, I know, because everything's so carefully budgeted. Oh, God, we haven't got the money for that. Oh, where are we going to get 20 million from for that? And then we go to war. So
it's not a political podcast.
Yeah, no, it's not. I know. Thanks for reining me in there. So things are moving, but nowhere near fast enough, and women are still waiting. And some estimates suggest up to 40,000 in England alone are watching that process with a very understandable mixture of hope and exhaustion. You could say the whole system let them down here.
Are they still not wearing? Do they still have those things inside them?
Well, here's the thing. some women continue to suffer the pain. I don't know the exact makeup of the thing apart from it being polypropylene, but does that degrades over time?
Well, most materials will degrade over time.
Yeah. But
even a hip replacement needs changing.
Yeah, well, that's true. The whole system let people down. Medicine, regulation, law, I'll come to that, compensation, every layer of protection that should have caught this failed. And the Cumberlege report described it as an unwritten contract between patients and healthcare providers. First, do no harm, and concluded that the contract had been broken comprehensively. And what this makes this a business story as much as a health story is this. A medical device was put to market without adequate clinical trials by a company that prioritised commercial gain. Where have we heard that before? It was rolled out at a scale by a health service that didn't track complications, and the people who suffered were largely women, whose pain was, as has happened so many times throughout medical history, dismissed as psychological rather than physical. Mm-hmm. So there has been a pause on the mesh's use for stress urinary incontinence since 2018, so not that very long ago.
No.
And it's not been lifted. The picture across devolved nations varies slightly. So Scotland, Wales, yeah. So globally, this story continues. It's still used in some countries, still contested in others. Some women did benefit from it. That's important to acknowledge. It is. But there are no numbers on that. Yeah. And for thousands who didn't, who are living with permanent irreversible damage, the question of accountability still pretty much remains largely unanswered. Mm-hmm. And the companies, the regulators, clinicians who dismissed these women for years because there wasn't enough evidence, very few of them have faced any real consequences at all.
I don't really know what to say.
Are you shocked? Yeah?
I am a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also a little bit shocked that in 2026 there isn't actually a solution to that problem.
No, there probably wasn't. But the clinical trials might have found an alternative. That's the thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that should
so
still be
clinical
looked
trials would definitely have picked something like that up. And clinical trials are over a period of a longer period of time. They're not, as things have changed. Not in this case. I just want to leave you with something I think captures the injustice pretty much perfectly. There's one woman, I'm not going to name her, speaking about the scandal, said that she simply wanted someone to say, "I'm sorry this happened to you, and I really mean it." That's pretty much all she wanted. She's still waiting, and thousands of them are.
I think she's more likely to get money than she is to get that, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah, because actually an apology is pretty much seen as an admission. Yeah. So where does it leave us? Well, slowly, imperfectly, and far too late, the door is beginning to open. Product liability payouts in 2024 against the manufacturers shows progress. Mm-hmm. Campaigners like Cass Sansom of Sling the Mesh, who's fought the battle for nearly a decade, well, in fact, it's over a decade now, called it welcome, noting quite rightly that it is a fraction of, the 140 women is a fraction of the thousands. Researchers at Sheffield University are now working on safer materials.
Lovely.
Yep.
I still think anything man-made will have the ultimate
ability
to
that's a good point. The next generation of women needing treatment will have better options, hopefully.
Yeah.
And the Patient Safety Commission has recommended a proper government redress scheme. Mm-hmm. So it's slow. But like a lot of these things, and included is things like the contaminated blood scandal and the hip replacement scandal, those they take persistent protest.
Yes,
and
not
dogged determination.
You complaining to your GP, this is real escalation.
Yeah. If there's a few people, they can be ignored. But once this starts to get as a groundswell.
Yeah.
So it's not over by quite a long way. But if we just kind of come back to the Cumberlege review, court victories, the research, the redress recommendations, these all happen because the women, the victims in this circumstance, refused to be quiet. Those who were told that their pain was imaginary, they organised, campaigned, and made themselves impossible to ignore, which is, when you think about it, quite magnificent.
Well, dealing with all of that, yeah.
Yeah. I think we've earned a brew after that.
I need one. I need a little lie down.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think.
Thanks for supporting us by downloading and listening to this episode.
And a massive thank you also to Dani, Emily, Nat and Lewis and the BTD Studios for all your expertise in bringing our podcasting dream to reality.
We'd love it if you commented on this episode, as we'd really like to know what you think and what you might like us to cover in future episodes.
And we'll see you on the next one.